I guess you can. Until I get some new tunes. Check this out. Mario and Luigi.
Oh my god. How did that happen?
I don't know.
When did that happen? Is that happening right now?
Yeah, they're over it. Yeah. Right? Fancy, fancy. Oh shit! And then I can play some groovy tunes. Woo. Mom. The bait shop?
Yeah.
Groovy. You're gonna do some fish things? Do you like fish sticks? You're a gay fish. Let's get that keyboard over here then, so I can actually type. Yeah? Pile of tunes. If you're just logging in. A new pile of tunes 2. Oh, I hope this is the right one. Greetings, everyone. We are just loading some more music in. A pile of tunes 2. Bam. Let's do it. 2.64 gigs of new music. Oh, yeah. Okay. About 2 minutes. Can we throw in a little bass color in that time? Can we drop the bass? And we're just going to wash all this shit over. The barrel. Nice base coat. Throw in some of that cream color. So we're going to kind of blend almost like weird flesh tones in with the barrel. Just going to go over all that black. It does not matter. We're going to cut in all that detail a little later on, and if it gives it a second layer with a little bit of grayness, it just adds to the depth. In about a minute here, load up some new music as well. Let's see. There we go. And we can, and eventually we'll cut in the individual slats as well, a little shading on them or whatnot. Moon Witch, how is it going? Doing well on this side of the screen. Had a nice weekend, got a lot of work done. Did a lot of business stuff this weekend. Really kind of sat down and figured out a few things about my career and where I'm going with it and some of the bigger projects I'm working on, and you know, got a few people hanging on that might need to get cut loose. So need to trim the fat in order to be able to accomplish everything. So, but yeah. Otherwise, it has been it was a great weekend. How are you? All right, Joe, I got that new, you know what? Hang on one second. Oh, gosh. How do you get rid of this shit? Okay, delete, and then let's go to Pile of Tunes 2. Where the hell did that go? I just downloaded the shit. Here it is. All right. I finally got Sugar to transfer some new music over for me, so. Is it 50 hours or 50 minutes? Come on. Oh. All right. Cool. Good to hear. Yeah. Hoping this week too I can get some longer streams in. Last week, I don't know how much I streamed. Took one day off. I think I'm gonna. I finally figured out that I'm gonna switch up a little bit. Monday and Tuesday nights are sometimes, I don't know, they've been a little slow, so I think I might switch to Monday, Tuesday day, and then do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, and then throw in like some weekend time as well. So we're just painting this barrel right now. Let's get this guy in here. Let's get his devil horns going. Rock and fucking roll. There we go. Fresh tunes from Sugar, Black Sheep Headquarters, Llama A, Cache. Who else we got? High Standards. We can even go into that deeper black, brown. Kind of bring a little bit of that over. Wait a minute, what are we doing here? Shit, I got that wrong. There we go. Black. We're just kind of throwing some color around the folds of the skin. We're actually gonna, let's pop into a smaller brush. Get some of that detail work going. No rainy up here today. We got a little sprinkle. I haven't really been checking the weather. When I don't, it's usually nice.
I like how me ignoring an advertisement helps Twitch.
Right? Tell us what you think about this ad. Fuck off. Thank you, you've helped us. We now know you're a jerk. There we go. Yeah, you know, every so often I want a nice storm to come through. I like storms. I think last year, if you remember, not last year, year before, I believe, we were supposed to have like the mother of all storms come through, and I packed up the motorhome. I had fresh water. DJ Sugar, thanks for joining, buddy. And it was like just pure red off the coast, and 120-mile-per-hour winds reported up off the coast of Bellingham, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and the storm split and went right around us. I was like, just don't get my hopes up. Like, we were eating dinner, and I was like, oh, a little power flicker. No, that was just the washing machine kicking in, whatever. It was not what I wanted. The clouds were getting all fucked up and dark, and then like, and then I saw like blue sky, and I'm like, you asshole. I do like a good storm. So I grew up on the East Coast, and we've had some hellish winds. I don't want a hurricane or anything. Those are whatever. But and the only really kind of kick-ass storm we had up here since I moved up here, I was actually on tour. Blend that in on his cheeks a little. And that was that almost blew a tree down on top of my house. But the plum trees that were on the other side of it caught it. And that was the only excitement. That was it. There's been some good windstorms, you know. And now that I've gone through my acre of land and cut down like every tree that could ever possibly do damage, there's just no danger anymore.
There's no danger.
Danger. High voltage.
I figured it out. I can zoom in on the video, so I can like zoom in on watching whatever's on my screen on Twitch.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Sugar's actually starting to work on some time lapses based off all the 6 new paintings. Well, this is the 6th painting I've done live on Twitch, so eventually we will have all these time lapsed. For your viewing enjoyment with custom music from, what's his name?
What is his name?
Williams, who orchestrates all the Star Wars movies. John Williams. Alan Silvestri. Abbott and Costello. Yeah, they've all called. We've done some amazing film, but now we're looking to do shitty time lapses and artists. Yeah. Yeah. We want to be hip again.
People out of the grave do something new.
Yeah, right. Like we're kind of the necromancers of film score. There we go. Get it nice underneath this. Track. It's tight. Tight, yo. As Jesse would say. This is some dentist office music right here. No. Ready for that?
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's like drilling.
Ready for that dentist rave? Alright.
The Black Sheep headquarters.
Where's that, a Creative Nation or Creation Nation bot that says, yo, Sean's online, go watch him. Doesn't seem to be working. Yeah. Drop what you're doing. Sean's online. You dropped the baby. Wah.
Which one should you do first?
The bass. Yeah. Yeah. You know where my mindset was coming from.
That would be a great music video.
God, I still need to order more ink.
That would be awesome.
I'm going to keep forgetting to buy ink, and then I'm going to start streaming Twitch, and I'm going to be painting, but no lines are going to be on the canvas because I forgot to buy ink. It'll be like the ghost who just keeps on doing what he did in life, but doesn't know he's dead. Yeah. I may be a ghost. How would I know?
You might not realize that you're dead.
I see dead people. I am dead people. Yeah. Why are people paying this much for my art? This is great. Oh, yeah. Because you're dead. This is amazing. Thanks, guys. Super swell. Super swell. There we go. All right. I am a barrel of whiskey, bourbon, and I am going to drink myself to death. Woo! Come in. Nice. I'm time-lapsing behind myself. If I move this out of the way. Yeah, right there. There's me. Look, I'm moving my hair around. That is Welcome to Rockville, one of Danny Wimmer's shows in Florida. The weather was lovely. The girl was passed out on the grass. It was a beautiful day. Yeah, throughout that whole time lapse, there's just, or most of it, there's just some chick passed out and vomiting. Maybe.
This is day 2.
I thought she went hard like day 1. Yeah. Let's use a little bit of that yellow ochre. Because bourbon needs a color. I'll throw some brown in there so it doesn't look like he's like, yeah, I'm drinking a big cup of my piss. Because the painting isn't that kind of weird. Alright. Woo! Come on, internet. Do yo thing. Cut loose and transmit information. And we'll do just some shading up underneath, but bring it up in more of a brush strokey kind of shading. Oh, was there a ghost? Did it appear?
No.
What?
There was like a part where I didn't get the clips close enough together.
Oh.
So they're like next to each other. There was like little like cut out for a second.
Oh, we need to insert some subliminal messaging.
We've done some of that.
Mm-hmm. Buy the shit. Or you eat shit. Woo!
I like the motion in this though. It's really cool. Like being able to like move the camera
Yeah.
all around a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of it works, some of it doesn't. I like that one. There was a little glitchiness in there. I kind of like the glitch.
Kids are all into glitch.
I mean, things look too perfect, you know. Sometimes that's like
Yeah.
a drawback.
This isn't like the Disney time lapse of that graffiti artist doing the Tron mural with tracking shots and,
No, but I mean, I did a little bit of that, you know, like I did.
a little wobbliness is good.
A little bit here and there, but then I also did somewhere, like when you're standing up and sitting down, it moves with you a little bit.
Nice.
And then at the end, I kind of gave up on it.
It's like, he must have a selfie stick attached to his ass. Time he gets up, the camera moves.
But that slow fade just now to like when you move from like the hat of the
Yeah.
scarecrow down to his neck, that was kind of cool.
Nice.
It was slow.
Panovision.
And at the same time, there's a chick puking on herself in the fucking
Oh, we got a nice close-up of that. Nice. Here's the rock chicks.
Yeah, look at this zoom in on that.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah, she's just passed the fuck out. You never know what you're going to catch at a rock show, boys and girls. Whether it be an STD or a video of a girl.
Yeah. Skating all day long. And we're not talking about goddamn.
No, that would be fun. Get his liquidity. He's like, drinks on me, man. Wait, drinks on me. I'm a drink. I'm a drink. I'm a purple drink. Oh. Keep thinking about a nice storm now. Thanks, Moonwitch. Putting that shit in my head that I'm never gonna get. I want my storm. Trees waving. Stuff you forgot outside just starts rocketing across the lawn. Oh yeah. I should have put that in. I want a storm. What the hell is that? No, I'm hallucinating. It's okay. Keep drinking beer. What's going on next week? Next week, I should be able to get my stream in next week. I got a big family reunion on my, pretty much on my wife's side. Trying to get my family out here is like trying to wake up that 800-year-old turtle from the Never-Ending Story. Yeah, geek talk. No. But I do have some family coming in. But that's on the weekend. Is that fireworks outside?
It is not me.
All right. Time for some leftover fireworks. They're setting them off outside.
Yeah.
B-Day 15, thank you so much for the follow and welcome.
It's fireworks.
Welcome to Demons and Bourbon Night.
It's been Demons and Bourbon Night for like a week.
Well, welcome to finishing up, the finishing of Demons and Bourbon. The 6th, and I haven't been watching the slideshow, but I think I added the Sherman tank centipede. So I do believe on the slideshow up here in the corner, it should have the first 5 paintings that I streamed on Twitch. So you can see them in all their glory, and they are up on SeanDietrichArt.com as well. We all know what tomorrow is, 7/10, and if you smoke, that is oil. So we may run a little special on the website. A little free shipping or something. I don't know. But I got all my new dab mats out. So. And then today I actually sat down with a business mentor, so someone who's bought and sold businesses for the last 30 years and decided to take this shit to the next level with some help. So even though I do very well as an artist, it never ends as far as getting help in different areas and whatnot. And now that I'm getting more into manufacturing and distribution and wholesale and all that, it's trying to bring in some help on how to run that, because that's all the icky work. All right, so some shadows, and these are the the metal rings that go around the barrel, so they're going to end up being black and whatnot. Oh, cool. Awesome, awesome. Art's super dope. Going to grab a snack. I'll be lurking. Perfect. Lurk away. I am here. And then, where's my bag? Let me show you guys a little something. After I finish this tonight, I'm going to do some sketching. And, what's in the bag? Let me show you this this is a genius pipe. I'm going to do a little plug for him. So these are my sponsors for this year, and this pipe in particular is signed by Jay and Silent Bob, so Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. But it's a magnetic pipe, and it has my artwork on it. So that's Ma Deuce. So I'm going to go ahead and be working on some different designs for these pipes. But basically, yeah, you put your smoke here, slide down, wind protect it, draw from here. When you want to clean it, just bust it open, magnetic, and there you go. So I have a few new pieces to develop for them. So after I'm done this tonight, I'm probably just going to sketch and just kind of come up with some concepts. So it looks like my internet lagged exactly when I was showing that off. Jerks. Anyway, I'll show it off again later on, but it's a very, very cool pipe. It's another one of these songs that some guy fell into like a wind chime shop. Nation bot. Ooh. Put some aged spots on the barrel because it's aged bourbon. Because why not? So we're just adding layers and layers of shadow, around the wrinkles and whatnot, underneath the eyes, kind of tucking the lips underneath there, making sure where it is dark, it'll be dark. There we go. There we go. Start to bring that face out from that barrel. Okay. I'm gonna go dark on those lips here. I might put a little hint of pink on his lips just to add some more humanity to him. More fleshiness. Few tight lines here to bring the blacks together, but a lot of it's going to be done with the Holbein ink and whatnot. So that beautiful ink that I keep forgetting to order more of. All right. So, this guy yelling. We will go into a little pink though, so we're gonna go. Oh, you know what time it is? It's time for the lunchbox. Pabst Blue Ribbon lunchbox. It's a great paint holder. I highly recommend one. Oh, and I upgraded my Chinette bowl palette to a beautiful biodegradable bamboo because they were on sale. My reason for buying. Cheers. pop this bad boy's tongue in. And we'll also give him a little pink on his gums. Start with a little wash, and then we'll go straight into some actual color. That was like an art house, like, horror movie track.
That
Yeah.
is, that one was Brown Sugar.
Brown sugar. All right.
That's me and my homie, Joey Horn.
Oh, let's throw up the, boom. Check out the emote. Finally got that designed.
So what is that?
If you subscribe, you get to use that emote. You get to say, Sean, I'm a devil licking something off to my right.
Birthday? What is the camera star king, Sean Dietrich?
Camera means I am broadcasting.
Okay.
You can hover over it. Star means subscriber, and Twitch Prime is the king thing. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can do whatever. You can subscribe through your Amazon Prime for 1 month to one person.
Oh, really?
Moonwitch knows B-Day. Imagine that. You know everyone. There we go. Let's put a little, just a hint. Oh, that's so not a hint. That's a lot. There we go. And then we'll just rub that in with my finger. And go over the metal strapping here and bring that up a little bit. There we go. And a little bit on this side. Just kind of blend it in. Okie dokie. So let's put in some dark brown here for the boneyard. Or do we? I'm thinking, what am I thinking? Do I want gray or do I want brown? Gray would definitely separate it, and I could shade it in more. I don't know. Let's just put some gray on the palette. See where the night takes us. Just a few people. Yeah, right. Just a few thousand people. Just everybody with the last names that start with the letter A through Y. Ooh, wood brush. Yeah. We got a few oranges here. Maybe let's dip into that brown, little yellow ochre. Throw in some of this shit. Okay. You like my very technical way of mixing paint. A little bit of this shit. Well, I accidentally touched this color, so you're going in there now. Sometimes that works. But I want to... I need to throw some red in here. Because the brown's kind of pulling him back, and he's getting a little bit lost. So I think if I throw in the smallest amount of red, it'll balance it out. Let's go ahead and... What I'm gonna do? Let me just take a little gray. That gives it kind of a funky look. And we're listening to a funky track. Feel the love. Long lost friends reunited on Sean Dietrich's Switch stream. Moon E-Day. It's like The Notebook. I wrote you. And of course I know that movie. I have dated a girl. Every guy gets sucked into watching that shit. Nanakisi, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Thanks for hopping in and checking out the art. Yeah, and I think let's throw a little bit of red in there. Let's grab the lunchbox here. Pop that red out that I use. Maybe even a little magenta. I'm almost trying to reflect most of the darker colors, you know. I'm the Wolf 24. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. We're just finishing up my sixth painting here since I started streaming a month ago. Most of them are running by at the top of the screen. I was demanded to leave stream and follow you by Pork. Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you followed his demands. So for the new viewers, I'll explain what I'm doing. It's a devil with some slugs coming out of his mouth and a hat that kind of looks like sourdough bread. And then here's his horns. And this is a bourbon barrel that's basically drinking himself to death. I go on tour in the fall. I do live art and sell my art at big rock shows across the country. This is for a particular one called Louder Than Life. Possibly used as some promo art, or it may just be a poster I use for myself. So, and later on, after I'm finished that, I will be working on some sketches for the brand new Genius pipe. So that is a Genius pipe. That is my artwork on a magnetic pipe. Easy to clean. Just got voted #1 High Times pipe. Put your herb in there, slide it back, smoke. When you want to clean it, pop it off. But they are this year's sponsor of my art tour. So we have a whole line of pipes out with my art. And then this one is signed by Jay and Silent Bob. Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. They were at this trade show I was at. So I have a couple new designs to work on for that pipe company. So once I'm done with this tonight, I'll start working up some sketches. I got to finish up this Alice series for them, and then they want some sort of space alien, sci-fi, kind of old school, like teenagers being abducted from a malt shop type scenario. But welcome everyone, welcome the new people. Fresh flesh. As always, behind me, this is Sugar. The tunes that you're listening to, he produced all of them. And this is Black Sheep Headquarter Just Brazen. So all the time lapses that are on my feed, or if you go to my SeanDietrichArt.com is my website, you'll see all my custom rolling tray time lapses, and he wrote all the music for them. So, and right now he's working on a time lapse from this past April / first weekend of May from a rock show in Florida called Welcome to Rockville, and I set up and did a live piece, custom woodcut. My friend Isaiah Gordon does these, like I'll sketch something. So with this, he would actually cut this out. So like in between all this shit, he would actually like cut it all out. And so you'd have this 3D half-inch thick woodcut, and then I would go through and paint it. So we do all sorts of shit, all sorts of cool stuff. And then let's give a little color splatter. We're going to strip out some of that color. Then just take your rag. and pulls it right off. And it sounds like I'm tapping out a telegram or a Morse code. There we go. So basically the pile of bones here, and I think I might take a little bit of that red and just kind of tuck it in the shadows here. Yeah, maybe it's a bunch of bloody dirt. I haven't figured it out yet. And then we'll go back in and do the detail work. And I'll zoom in so you guys can see all the intricate line work. Like around the last time we streamed, we did all the work around the Venus flytrap and the snails or slugs that are coming out of his mouth. They could be snails, I guess, if they used his head as the shell. Whatever you guys want. Alright. And be sure to, if you're on Instagram, @SeanDietrich, add me, and it's usually where I post most of my updates. And if you are an artist, feel free to link to your artwork in the chat. I don't mind fellow artists on the old stream sharing their art, or where I can check it out. I love to check out new art. I'm a fan already. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm new to this Twitch thing. I'm not new to art. I've been professional 13 years now, and I've done everything from comics to movies, gaming. I tour with all the big Danny Wimmer rock shows now. Did a little tour in Australia a couple years ago. This year will sadly be my 18th year, or would have been my 18th year at San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm so busy this year I just didn't have a chance. So if anybody's going to Comic-Con, have a great time. It was easier when I lived there. I used to live in San Diego, and obviously not have to paying for flight and accommodations and all that. It makes a huge difference. There we go. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of cool. Almost like his brains are bubbling out. See, you just don't know what you're going to get. Happy accident. Yeah, in the next few streams, I have a slew of new product design I need to get finished. I have a whole line of, starting off with smoke shop products, but I have posters and stuff going out to the big gift shops, and I have a line of glass coming out. So kind of this little Rick and Morty piece right here. Just imagine it with this artwork on it. So we're working on a little kit, so it'll come in a custom box, and it'll have like the rig plus a dab tool, a dab mat, a dab rag, a sticker pack. Working on some cool like die cut stickers and stuff right now too. So finally jumping into some manufacturing, and finally jumping into some residual income, which I know every artist is. My art isn't good enough to be checked out. Come on. I got two little ones. I look at kindergarten art all day, and I can find some beauty in it. There can be neon pink monster trucks, Daddy. Sure, bud. I like that helicopter. It's not a helicopter. Whoops. All right. I'm going to go a little bit darker. Maybe pop that magenta in right there for the darker color. Oh, yeah. There we go. I like it. Drawing in all the colors. This whole painting, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do with that. So I don't have all the answers, man.
Go! Crushed.
I know.
I thought you were God.
Sorry, buddy.
Fucking lame.
I know. Not with. Not with that emote. What do you do that's not good enough to be checked out? Paint? Or craft? Or weird shit that's just illegal to show off? Or what are we talking? Oh yeah, I like that. I really like that. Let's zoom in there. There we go. Got kind of a neon thing going on. I'm going to go ahead and I think on this one, yeah, this one needs some blacklight reactive paint on the slug's eyeballs and his eyeballs. So when you hit it with a blacklight flashlight, you'll be able to, it'll glow blue. So I do have some blue. While I'm looking at it, let's put a touch of just some brown in here to give these folds a little bit of depth that are coming off the sourdough sombrero. That's what it is. The sourdough sombrero. I'm glad I have some custom music to be able to play. I know somebody was saying Twitch was cracking down even harder on like people streaming just like copywritten music and.
That shit's weird, but it's not illegal.
Yeah, it may be weird, but it's not illegal. That's great. Well, then maybe it isn't as weird as you think. I want the really weird shit, man. The stuff from the back room. There ain't no back room here. And why don't we go and strip a little more of that color out. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Just to give it a little more grit, more layers, more antiquated kind of look. It almost looks like moldy grapes, or like in Washington we have an ungodly amount of invasive blackberries. So maybe it's a blackberry cobbler. Good to eat, but man, I got this like brush cutter that I've cleared a 1/4 acre out with. Oh my god. I just draw, but it's shit. I like the confidence though. That's what it's all about. You're on your way. In fact, let's see if I can pull it up on Instagram. Shit Comics, I believe it's called. I have some, yeah, let's see.
You think you know
shit. It's shit.comics is the guy's Instagram name. So it's all these. So, and these are funny as hell. Some of them are really good. Others are just like, wow. But if you look at this guy's stuff and still think that you draw shit, you don't draw shit. And a lot of times it's like that. Like for me, I think most animation out there, Rick and Morty and all that stuff, is shit. Like, you know, because they bust out these cartoons, regular show, all that, just to get them done as quick as possible. But there's no style in that artwork. It's all in the writing, and same with this guy's comics. It's all in the writing. The last comic he put out today was just some guy like standing there looking weird, and it's like he's like, "This is the face I make when I get into an elevator and I can still smell the guy before me's halitosis breath." Yeah, and you're like, "What the fuck?" But just that he can touch on those things that we've all been there. We've all been in that elevator. In fact, that's one of the things my father-in-law came up with when we were trying to figure out the name for my last art book, Confidence Pig. One of the working titles he came up with was Perfume in an Elevator. And I love the title because I'm like, you can taste that title. Like, I have to use that for something. Like, you know, right? Perfume in an elevator. We've been there. We've all gotten on and we're like, oh, why'd I get that room on the 32nd floor? You know? Like, oh, yeah. We're going to the club. And they all have a different fragrance. It's like, you're going to suffocate the club. It's going to be like a gas attack.
My homie always referred to the guys that bought trans records at CSL as farts and cologne.
Farts and cologne. There you go. Like farts and, or farts like in Cologne, Germany?
But yeah, farts and cologne.
Farting in Cologne. The European travels of a trans DJ.
You know, because trans people that like trans and DJ trans, they do a lot
yeah.
As a collective group, and ecstasy makes you fart.
I did not know ecstasy made you fart. I've never done ecstasy, so.
And to cover up the nasty smell.
They wear. I got it.
Because, well, to be pointedly racist about it all, Middle Easterners tend to smell a little bit. You know, like they don't shower as much, like they cover it up by pouring on the cologne.
Oh, we know that from the stoner industry too.
Oh yeah, truly for days.
Truly for days. Hippies stink. All right, so we're just detailing these bones right now too in the bone yard, and then we'll move over a little bit. We'll start detailing the dirt, and then get the bourbon barrel all detailed out. Let's see. Let's get the chair back, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on the bones. There we go.
Favorite dive bars of Seattle, dude. It's like called the Bait Shop.
The Comet? Oh.
Bait Shop.
Nice. And when I zoom in, I always like to play a game called How Long Till Sean Doesn't Realize He's Moved Over and Is Still Painting Off Camera.
Bro, they have deviled eggs on the menu.
Nice. I love deviled eggs.
For $4.
What is it, Bootlegger in San Diego has, what do they have? They have deep fried deviled eggs. They're amazing. They put a jalapeno in each one and then batter it, deep fry it, and serve it up with sriracha. It is the only time I've eaten sriracha and a deviled egg. Oh, and the line work, number 0 brush, and Holbein black ink. Where the hell's the camera? Oh, okay. And it's a beautiful Japanese ink. I rave about it if you've watched me for any period of time. Absolutely love this stuff. It's super opaque. It's completely waterproof. If you get a chance to see me start a painting, I'll sketch it, and then I do the outline, erase the pencil, and then just start washing over top of it. And it doesn't smear, it allows me to basically turn it into a big coloring book, and then go to work from there. So it's the coloring book phase. But very, very cool ink. Always a big shout out. I don't know his name, but I hope he's rich and all his wildest dreams came true. The Holbein rep that came to my booth, that one San Diego Comic-Con many years ago. I see you're using crap ink. Try this. And it was amazing. Let's go. We're going to do the lines there. We'll bring a few of them up here. There we go. It's Monday, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Well, it always feels like a weekend. I don't ever stream on the weekends, but every time I stream, I'm like, woo! It's the weekend. So we want to go a little bit darker up underneath him so we can actually, we'll just hit the side of the brush. That's how you get those nice thick lines. We'll connect a bunch of them. You know, to kind of use the additional texture under here to simulate a shadow, but do it in a way that kind of makes it look like it's playing off the dirt, the texture of the dirt. There we go. Not a bad Monday. What, I have 3 or 4 follows tonight? Thank you guys. Always nice to have some new peeps popping in. Eventually, I will set up a few giveaways and stuff like that. We'll do some fun stuff on here. Right now, I'm so swamped with work. But I like streaming because this is like the guaranteed time that I paint during the day. So no matter what happens or how many fires I have to put out with all the new business ventures, I know I get my relaxation time coming up. There we go. Oh yeah, I did part of that off camera. See, it doesn't take long. I do. I tend to do that. I need to start timing myself, or maybe that'll be my, like all my clips will just be like all the times I painted off camera. I'm sure it happens. And I have a few big pieces coming up, 6x4, 3x4, a bunch of huge canvases, commissions coming up. And that'll be interesting to film that. Or figure out how. There we go. We'll just take up a little more right there. There we go. Shit.comics. Love it. Hit the edge of this horn here. We'll do a little bit of that hatching. Go. I'm really bad at finishing a drawing. If I take too long, I start to hate it and throw it away. Oh, been there. Earlier, my worst was in when I was in high school, like really wanting to get into comic books and whatnot. And holy crap! All right, I got this idea. It's gonna be I used to draw, believe it or not. I for a brief moment was into drawing superheroes. So creating these teams and what their powers were, and it was like right at the height of the Image Comics thing when they first started, and it was just like all their books coming out. And then like a week into like designing characters and drawing them, I'm like, I really don't like this and don't want to work on it anymore. But I have this other idea. Yeah, it sometimes the discipline is the hardest part about art. But I'll still to this day take paintings where I'll start it and I'll follow through with a certain section, and then I'll look at it and be like, I don't like this at all. I don't like where it's going, and I'm going to throw it in the closet for a year. In fact, the one that is now on this pipe, that Ma Deuce right there, I completely screwed all those bullets up, and I didn't want to do it again. I was like frustrated, so I just threw it in the closet, and then a year later I was like, I got to have something new out, and a new pinup girl, because I had sold out of the old one. So I pulled it out, and I just kind of buckled down and eventually did it. So, Pork sending everybody. Nice. Thank you so much for the follow, guys. I got Cyber Gnome and Kane Eats Abe. Oh, Kane Eats Abe. Awesome name. Cool. Pork needs like a print or something. I gotta find a way to thank. That's awesome. Cyber Gnome, yeah, I love the little emote. Here, I'll throw you a devil. The one I just designed, or had someone design for me. Like I got time. That's amazing, though. Thank you so much, guys, for popping over, checking out the art. Some of the images, scrolling at the top of the screen, I think there's 5, like that mosquito with the MG42 machine gun as a head, the Hunter S. Thompson, the Mad Hatter. They were all done on Twitch. This is my first month. This is my 5th week streaming. And I've been hanging out on Twitch for, since like March, but it's been a really cool experience, so yeah. If you guys want to link some art, throw up your webpage in chat. I'm always down to check out some art, and I don't mind you guys sharing between each other. And you probably all know Moon Witch, because she knows everyone. Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to, helping to build up the creative a little bit and do something consistent. 9 p.m. Monday through Friday is generally when I'm on, but I'm thinking maybe Monday and Tuesday I might switch to do a day stream just to kind of pick up some new, some maybe East Coast or people that this might be a little too late for. But and then doing Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as definite late night, because obviously we're artists and that's our playground. Here's my current piece. All right, let's check it out. Oh, wow. Fuck yeah. That is amazing. Yeah, that line work, man, that's insane. That's right up my alley. That reminds me of like a super detailed, like Frank Miller style from oh, check this guy's work out. Look at that.
Wow.
That's pretty dope, huh? Look at just the line work in general. Does this zoom? It does zoom.
Is that all vector?
Is that vector? Who was that? Oh, that was Kanye Tabe. Okay. Yeah, that's incredible, dude. That's all digital, I'm assuming, or not assuming? It's a raster. Photoshop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Oh, the whalecraft piece. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's going to be part. The whale, the mosquito, and the Shermantipede, the Sherman tank centipede, are all part of a larger commission that I'm working on. I've been talking about it for the last few weeks as I've created those pieces. Um, my buddy's grandfather was part of the 115th in Storm Normandy, so I'm doing like a really surreal look to the piece as opposed to just like a dreary war piece or something. So I took all the World War II vehicles and just animalized them. And my buddy's cool with it. He was like, yeah, man, if you want to... His words were like, I'm just happy to have one of those pinup girls in my painting. And I'm like, done. If that's your only requirement, then I'm going to get really weird, you know. The best commissions are where they just kind of let you run, you know. Started as a sketch, scanned it in to push. Oh, cool. Awesome. So you do a little bit of both. You know how to do traditional and digital. I'm assuming a lot of artists do. You know, I know some people make the jump. I got a few friends, like Ali Garza is a buddy of mine. He's a comic book artist, Teen Titans and whatnot. He also did Anthony Bourdain's last comic book, but I believe he digitally inks now. Scans his stuff in and then digitally inks. So traditional's charcoal based. Nice. That is one thing I always fuck up is charcoal. It just becomes a big smear. I'm sure I could sell to some modern art museum, but I do respect the charcoal. Silicon Bleach, I believe, is another streamer on here that I actually host him, auto-host him every once in a while, and his charcoal stuff is absolutely amazing. Or pastel, I think he uses pastel. Whatever it is, it's one of those smeary mediums that looks really cool if you can master it. This is all acrylic. So color-wise, it's all acrylic, and then this is just a number 0 liner brush, like a pinstriping brush, and for all the work. And it's all ink. I don't use black paint, so this is all done with like a India ink, Holbein. If you weren't here earlier when I was raving about the ink. Nice stream as well. Glad to mention anything about that. Cool, man. Yeah, get some sleep. And nice to meet you too. And that artwork was absolutely incredible. So. Yeah, this is definitely the perk of being on Twitch as opposed to Instagram and all that. It's like that instant connection. You can chat, check out people's art in real time. Like, this is true social media. And then if you do connect with people, it's like it's easier to kind of filter through and, you know, check out individuals, people, you know, artwork, as opposed to letting an algorithm decide whether you're going to see like somebody you follow's artwork. Cheers, man. Thanks. So just adding a few little little lines to the dirt, little spirals and whatnot to just kind of lead the eye around and give it some texture and whatnot. Scoot up and check out the devil. Wah! And I think, while my brush is off the canvas, time for another PBR. Cheers to everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on this exciting Monday. Love that Pabst. Connoisseur of fine beers here. I do like a good beer, you know. But I'm working, so I need to have a working man's beer. And I can't be pulling out the Pabst Blue Ribbon lunchbox that carries all my paints and then all of a sudden crack open a Corona. That would just like upset the universe greatly. Boom. All right, so we got most of that dirt. It's funny, a part of me almost looks like he's got like his hair in curlers and pulled them out, and he's like this old lady, like grandma devil. So sometimes the paintings surprise me. All right, so let's work on these bones over here, and I promise we'll get back into this bourbon barrel. I'm anxious to get him finished. Because he's one of them characters that I know, like when I sketched him out, it was more, when he was fully detailed with all the wood slots and all that, it just looks a lot better. Some characters just have that, like, it requires all the detail to make them look awesome. Big Imp, what's up, dude? Cheers. It goes well. We're finished up the bottom part, now moving on up past the sourdough sombrero into his little dirt kind of old lady hair, and working on the bourbon barrel. So there's Pork. You were the shit. Thank you so much for sending all those people my way. Here's some sympathy and some thanks from the devil. That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so we're going to, and I'll, after this will be finished up. You were the shit, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm going to finish this tonight, but I think I'm going to stay on, and just to give you guys kind of a little treat, this is a genius pipe, so I'll go over this again. This was just voted High Times #1 pipe. So my buddy invented it. This one in particular is signed by Silent Bob and Jay, so Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. It does have my Madus artwork on it. So this is my sponsor for this year's art tour. So, and it's completely magnetic. You want to clean it, split it in half. 2,000 divots, cool to smoke. So I have a new Alice in Wonderland series that's out, and they want to finish it with like a Red Queen and a caterpillar. So I'm going to sketch out the designs for that. And then we're going to do like a 50s kind of sci-fi, like teens getting abducted from a malt shop kind of design. So, you know. The gift. Thank you so much for the subscription. Awesome. And, and I got some cheering going on from Cybernome, too. Thank you. I don't have my thing in with my, I haven't come up with, forgive me, guys, I haven't come up with, like, the Dancing Gandalf or whatever the Rick and Morty, you know, when you subscribe and you get all the little graphics across the screen. So, but yes, the GIMP, now you get the devil emote. I did manage to hire someone to create that emote for me. I showed him this picture and I said, can you make this? So that is how we, that is how I got that. So, but lots more stuff to come. I am going to do some sub giveaways and stuff in the future. I have a whole line of smoke shop products coming out. If you guys are along the lines of that, this is a little, my manufacturer produces this Rick and Morty rig. But if you can imagine this with this art on it, this is what's in the works right now. Oh, cool. Nanakisu, thank you for popping in. And yeah, I'll be on for the next few hours. So, and yeah, so the pipe itself will come in. It'll come in a box like this. It'll have all my artwork on it. It'll have a rig. It'll have a dab mat. It'll have a dab rag. It'll have a dab tool, sticker pack, and whatever else we might throw in there. So, we just started doing. What else? Here's a. This is a neoprene. So this is like mouse pad material, but this is an anti-slip mat for your glass. This is a Cheshire Cat one I did. This is actually coming out as a hat pin too, not this big, but you know it'll be a little. It'll all be on SeanDietrichArt.com is where you'll be able to get the pipe. Right now, the dab mats, the silicone mats, and the neoprene, and the bandanas, the tapestries, like that big giant 8-foot tapestry behind me, those are all available on SeanDietrichArt.com. And there's a bunch of die cut stuff as well of the Hatter and whatnot. We just got samples in little jars, silicone jars to hold your wax, and we also have weed jars coming out, and then I have, what else is in the works? The hat pins are being produced, and then there's fiber mats, which are like fiber bamboo mats that you can dab right off the mat. It can hold that kind of heat, and then and those are coming out with the, if you look at the images that are scrolling at the top of the screen, the one with Hunter S. Thompson, the Fear and Loathing one, and the Honey Hatter with all the honeycombs and the honeybees and the honey dripping all over them are the first two that are coming out for that. So that's what I've been working on for the last, however many weeks and whatnot, was getting the products ready and whatnot. So, stop. You want to bed? Good night. I sure will. That's my oldest, my daughter. It is bedtime. I have a little guy, Maximilian, that's hanging out at his friend's house. But they love to come into the studio and, there's a lot of space in here. Play Legos or draw or go through my art supplies. And where'd that pen go? In fact, we just did we're doing a full remodel on my house right now. We just built the studio, and now we are working on the inside of the house. And like any kid's room, my daughter's room was a complete disaster. But we found probably 900 crayons that I didn't even know. I keep buying her all these art supplies thinking that they broke and no, this was a mountain. If we melted it down, I would have candles for like whatever apocalyptic electrical destroying event. But yeah, I found a bunch of erasers and pencil, all this shit that, I'm like, that's where it all went. But as long as she's being creative, I got no problem with it. So let's finish up these bones. And I'm also thinking, and I'll run this, now that I have a few people watching and whatnot, I was thinking of this idea, and I'll probably debut it on Twitch, and this is probably going to be something I'm working on for next year, but I think I might particularly have, and I know some artists have done this, but where like you guys kind of dictate what I draw, but I was thinking of doing an entire year, because I have so much artwork right now, and I have so much that's being produced, and I was almost thinking of next year just having just let the fans dictate. Like, what do you want me to draw? But the only requirement is, since I want to sell this stuff, is it cannot be copywritten material. It can't be fan art. Like, I may do, possibly do up some fan art for some prizes or whatnot, or stuff as like a giveaway, but I think even that's a gray area, but, But I would love to do something like that, because I think what I'm hoping is over the next few months of streaming and showing people all this weird shit that I draw, it'll inspire you guys to be like, man, I wish he would draw like maybe this guy with that other thing, and let's have this devil guy riding that whale, or something along those lines, and then eventually publish it all. So actually have a book come out that's like kind of like what I did this summer, but what you guys made me do this summer. But I'm always trying to think of different ways to kind of like bring, the viewing public and like the people I meet at the rock shows and whatnot into the fold. And I've been playing a boatload of new music that Sugar has bestowed upon me for this stream tonight. So all the music playing was produced by this gentleman behind me here, who is currently working on a time-lapse of me painting at Welcome to Rockville in Florida this past May. Which is so weird, because I swear it was like a week ago I was preparing to go on tour, and now I'm already back from the spring. And we are almost ready to go on fall tour, so I'll be hitting the road in August. And I'll make sure to post, by then I should have my Discord up, and I'll be able to post my new schedule, which will be a little bit erratic as I tour, because depending on how stressful the day is, or where if I drove a lot that day, or if, it's just a matter of popping in and say hi, and, Right, I keep telling my non-Twitch artist friends to check out the creative community. It's a hard sell there. Yeah, I didn't even know about it until Alex Pardee posted on Instagram that he was streaming, and I was like, what is this? And my little brother's a gamer, and his girlfriend, and I mean, they've known about this forever, of the gaming side of things, but I had no clue there was an actual, like, creative side to Twitch until I saw Pardee's posts, and like I said, it's more, I like how more interactive it is, how, the chat is real time, you get to see the actual process. It's not just some, like, furious, like, sensory, like, attention span of a minute, like, Facebook video or Instagram, and, like, you can actually chill and hang out and interact, which, is incredibly beneficial to an artist. I mean, there's a reason I go out and sell at the rock shows, and I don't concentrate a lot online as far as, like, Facebook ads or Instagram ads. We had a big meeting yesterday, big company meeting with all 3 employees, and one of the things we kind of scrapped was, like, do we need to waste time on ads and shit like that? It's like, no, let's focus on what is actually, and if you look at the analytics for my business, 99% of my income almost is going out to these shows and selling in person. A big chunk of that is people want to buy art directly from the artist. I love it. I think most of the art that I own, I've bought directly from the artist, at a show or a festival or a nightclub. I do a bunch of trade shows, and some nights we'll just walk around and try and seek out, like, is there a local art show that, we can pop in and pick up some new art. And my daughter, I haven't been to many shows on the road because I've been, I haven't had a chance to check out any galleries or whatnot. But I used to, every city I would go to, I'd buy her a piece of art from that city. So it was like, not only was she 5-6 years old and had just a pretty bitchin' art collection, but she could turn it over and see, like, I think I wrote it on the back of most of them, like, where I was when I bought that. So it kind of, like, yeah, buying from the artist is the best. It's awesome because you get to hear the story, and there's just more of that, personal experience of, talking to them maybe about technique if you're an artist yourself, or just, like, or even just meeting the artist and being like, I didn't know you're a lot different in person. I thought you were a complete fucking weirdo. Like, sometimes that happens. I've had people say that to me. But cheers to them. Yeah, and I don't think people value like collaboration either, and cross promoting. And my buddy Vincent Gordon and I, we used to live in the same city, so it was a lot easier to collaborate. And he had to force me to pretty much collaborate. I wasn't into it at first, and then once we started putting out these. We did these Fear and Loathing Across America collabs where we would basically take a city that we toured in and then paid homage to it, and then threw Hunter Thompson in there somewhere, a little parody of something or another. But I mean, those became like our biggest sellers as far as, and then we started having people going like, wait a minute, can we get our city commissioned? And we ended up selling a couple of them for upwards of $20,000, because we had a guy in Manhattan or Brooklyn that really wanted his city, and it was this 8-foot monster painting with like everyone in it that lived in Brooklyn, and it was cool because it documented not only this guy's life, but like the history of the city, and the cool people that came out of it, and it became a really awesome thing. And but to be able to connect with artists, especially on a level of what like the Twitch creative scene can offer, is I think it's pretty cool. And I hope it continues to grow and more artists jump on, because I know a lot of artists, they hop on, they go gung-ho, and they're like, I'm going to stream 600 hours a week. And then after, like, the first week, they're like, That's why I'm trying to pace myself, as far as I don't want to put a set time as far as, like, how many hours I'm going to stream. It's basically like, like today I had a good day. I can spend some time on here tonight. So, but the other night I had some stuff to take care of with the remodel and all that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stream for a couple hours, and that's all you're getting. But I think just from my initial experience, if artists, even if they just jump on and do a couple hours a week to start, even just to help build the community up, will be pretty rock and roll. There we go. Bones came out a lot thicker than I wanted, but I like them. Just one of the things I didn't intend, and it happened. We've all had that night. There we go. And no, there's no secret messages in here yet. But some people are like, is that your name? Is that like a dude with a mustache? And I'm like, no, just some wiggles. And I forgot to darken in the, what's the middle part of your eye called? What is that dark thing? Cornea, iris, retina. Put a little starburst there in his eye. A little hope for the future in the devil's eye. Pupil? Yeah, is it? I don't know. I'd be a horrible eye surgeon. Oh, we were supposed to take that part out. Sorry. I done fucked that up. I think we have a family friend that's like an eye surgeon. It's just such a weird specialty. Like, I want to be a doctor, but I'm only going to work on your eyeball. All right, so let's start with, let's just jump right into the face of the barrel. So let's move. Let's get the chair back a little. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the outside outline. I'm going to drop in these black, the iron bands that go around the barrel. Get those in, and then we can start like bringing the, really pulling out like the AIDS lines on this guy's face and whatnot. Yeah, no scalpels, only paintbrushes for me, I'll tell you though, I'm impressed with, I was never really a handyman, but I'm really good at figuring shit out. Like I have the German side of me definitely flows well in there, from my ancient heritage or whatever. I can figure stuff out, then I'm not scared to jump in and try. But this time last year when we first bought this house, and when I get my Discord up, I'll have to post pictures of the studio. And, it looks livable now, and it's a nice space. This used to look like the fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. This was rat-infested. There were piles of garbage. We hauled 10 tons of garbage out of the garage. And I mean, I got to tell you, and I demoed most of this myself with just help from my wife, and then we hired a kid to help, like, load the truck. And we had rats popping out of all sorts of shit. Yeah, I'm no eyeball doctor, but I'm a quick learner. Yeah. Only 10 or 12 people will go blind before I figure out how to operate on an eyeball. But after working on this house, and I'm actually pretty proud of what I can do with a power tool now, and almost shameful what I've done to rats. I mean, I fucked some rats up. But yeah, basically this is a 3-bay, 1,300 square foot garage. That is my studio. The first time I have ever had this much space. I mean, my main work area here is 500 square feet. It's 32-foot walls by like 15 feet. It's kind of a wedge shape, so it's like 8-foot up to 12-foot ceilings or 11-foot ceilings. So it's real high ceilings over towards that, the front section, and that's where we have a projector set up and whatnot. And then there's 2 other bays. So imagine that much room where the people that lived here before me were too lazy to get garbage service because we have to walk our garbage cans maybe 500 feet up the road. And so they just threw their trash in the garage for a year. And then the rats just it was a buffet. It was a 3-star Chinese buffet. That's Sugar's favorite thing.
Yeah, 3-star Chinese buffet.
But it was absolutely awful. And, it was so gross. And basically before I could get in here and abate the rats at all, we had to clear the garbage out. So we got a 27-foot U-Haul truck. I was like, yeah, I'm doing some moving. I was definitely not going to tell them what I'm doing with their truck. We backed it up to the garage and basically just hauled all the trash out. And then as we're pulling trash out, there's rats jumping out. The kid that we hired was about to move from Washington down to Camp Pendleton. He was a Marine in training. And I'm like, dude, if you can deal with this, the Marines will look easy as fuck. Because he's picking garbage up, and there's like a rat around between his legs and got in the truck, and I was just like, okay, whatever, And he was queasy. He was not having a good time, and I was like, yeah, welcome to the house. And then once the garbage was out, that was 4 tons of garbage we put in a 27. And then I had to go through and demo, because they used to use this as an auto body spray shop. So this was the spray bay. So it had like unbelievable amounts of toxic paint, just like all the spray gun paint. There was probably 50 of those on the wall. There was a closet in the back, and where the closet was held my electrical box, and that was the main rat cave. So me and the Rat King had to have a talk one day. And I mean, I had to bleach bomb this thing to kill any viruses, and then I had to peppermint bomb the whole place just to keep the rats away because they can't stand peppermint. Most animals can't. And then finally just slowly started demoing it down to, and demoed this whole place down to the studs. And I was going to call it like Rat-a-Tat Studios, just to be like, I got to pay homage to the shit I went through to get this art studio up and running. And it was 3-4 months of cleanup. I mean, this was not easy because I still had to work and I still had to, produce new art, and there was a tour in the middle of that, and yeah, it was insanely gross. I was dressed up like Heisenberg in a fucking Tyvek suit and respirator, and it was 80, 90 degrees out. Contamination! Yeah, so awful. So awful. But I'm proud that I did it, and I'm glad I got through it, and it was definitely a baptism by fire, or baptism by flaming rat. And man, and then you start taking drywall down, and it's like centipedes and spiders and everything, wasp nests up in the ceiling, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man, it's like a National Geographic episode. What the hell was that? Big old hair. So to fix that fuck up, you just take the thing down a little lower. We can actually do it on this side too. Nice. Now it looks like he's got like 3 80s headbands on, and he's just rocking out to some butt rock. Woo! And wasps too? Were they allied with the rats? They must have been, man. It was just there was a symbiosis going on in here that, like, I don't know. I think they had meetings. They probably unionized. It was not a fun place. And we live out in the country, so it's like there's rats running around everywhere. I mean, they're just out there. It's just there's mice. I mean, it's you know, but it's just prevention at this point, like making sure there is like everything's bombed with peppermint oil, and there's mint growing on the property, and there's you know loud obnoxious music sometimes or whatever, and of course no food and no garbage. Yeah. Now it's like, I mean, last night, you just natural thing. I don't know, last night I laid down in bed and I kept hearing this little ticking noise and I'm like, what the hell is that? This is one of those houses where you're like, what is this now? I mean, it's a substantial remodel. It's about a 2-year remodel to get this place like another 2 years. We've been here a year already. And I shined my cell phone up we have a, skylight, like a big one, like this thing's like 5 feet by 3 feet. It's huge in the bedroom. And I shined it up there and I saw something was fluttering up there and I was like, oh God, tell me that's not a bat, or something like that. Because it had these beady little eyes and it kind of looked over the corner and it lifted a wing and it did some stuff that you don't expect a moth to do. But it was a giant moth. And I was like, all right. And my dog loves moths. He'll eat it. And so I was like, okay, or she will. So I was like, all right. So I woke up, and it was pretty funny because my wife's passed out in bed, but I have every light on in the bedroom, and I'm sitting there beating this moth with a yoga mat, and the dog's just waiting for his meal. And then it ends up, I hit it, and it flies. It happens to go right into a Q-tip box, and the thing's just fluttering around in there, and I'm like, that was a shot of the century, first of all. And then Rosie's sitting there sticking her nose in, trying to get this thing out of the Q-tip box. And then finally she gets it out, doesn't catch it. It flies away. And then I end up hitting it into a mirror, which causes a big crash. And then finally there was a Crystal Head vodka bottle sitting there. And I end up dropping it on this thing. And I was like, nice. So it was like this glass skull that I crushed the moth with. So see, being an artist is exciting. Boop, 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 boop. All right, there we go. I like this piece. It's coming out. Let's get a little. There we go. Little pano of the. I love the slugs, and I am gonna do one. I think. I want one that's just the devil with the slugs, and I'm going to do a die cut patch and a sticker with it, and maybe a mat if I can. But it's crazy, when I'm getting into the manufacturing now, it's like that line would have to go. It's too thin to die cut inside there, and they can only do one die cut per thing, all of the shit I have to pay attention to now. It's like when I got my first children's book contract, they gave me this long list of what I can't draw. And some of it was pretty funny. I did a kids version of Hansel and Gretel, and inside the book when you first open it, there's character designs. So it would show Hansel, Gretel, the witch, the mom, the dad. Well, I drew the dad because he was a woodsman with an axe in his hand, and I'm like, and they're like, you can't do that because you can't show just a dude holding an axe. It promotes violence or something like that. But if I show him in the act of chopping wood, somehow that says to children, oh, an axe is for chopping wood. I'm sorry, I thought it was for murdering my parents But just all sorts of rules you have to go through. What's my internet being a butt? I saw that little glitch. Jerk. Alright, so now we have the barrel re-outlined. Brought in some of these lines from here. We got the straps on. Once I do this, the last thing we'll do is actually cut down and do the slats, where the individual planks for the barrel. I'm sure there's a technical name for that. Maybe it is plank. I don't know. So let's go in and we'll detail this guy out. And again, just like, just kind of going over the same lines, but even like leaving little breaks, like actually giving it more of like the hair of an eyebrow. Let me zoom in a little, So some of that like gray can show through of the original ink that got washed over. So anything like that, is why I like building up the layers. I won't erase it. I won't, Yeah, my shit is lagging right now. Holy crap. What are you doing online? We'll see if this shit happens anymore. I might have to reset or something, but oh, the joys of streaming. Just want to make sure the internet kind of evens out, because I don't want to do a bunch of work and then you guys miss it. Because I know it would just ruin your night. No! Alright. There we go. Yeah, our internet is like, I pay for 1 gig service, and yeah, there's going to be some yelling. In fact, they're open 24 hours online, tech support, so maybe there'll be like 6 more PBRs, and then there'll be some yelling on the phone. I tend to be very honest when I drink. Alright, let's bring that down. A couple little fine lines there. And not to give myself away, as occasionally I will look at a Google image or whatnot, but it was funny because just to get the positioning of the mouth and whatnot, I actually did Google fat guys laughing. So, and it's interesting. There are a lot of excellent pictures of fat guys laughing on the internet. I'm sure there's all sorts of weird sites dedicated to that. Yeah, gig service should have 0 problems. They just got bought out, making them like the 7th biggest internet provider in the U.S. now. So, not to say that's an excuse, but what it should do, it damn well better iron out the problems. Now that there's like this other massive company that's dealing with the net. It was a fun Google. We did a party once where, so we did a Halloween party in a warehouse, and what we did was recreated the movie Seven. And for the fat guy, so when you walk in the room, there were all the rooms. The lounge area was the lawyer's office, so you could chill on the couch, and greed was written on the floor, and there was like a pound of chicken on a scale, and then the entrance was like full of air fresheners, like the guy that was like tied to the bed for a year. But for the kitchen scene, we actually hired a 450-pound dude to dress up in just like white boxers and a wife beater and sit in a recreation of the kitchen. And I put him behind cheesecloth and backlit him with like a static TV. So very artsy. And but he was regulating his breathing, and he sat completely still. And then when we lifted the cheesecloth, as I went up on the main stage and started live painting, and I was dressed as like Kevin Spacey and came up covered in blood and a white collar shirt. I started painting on stage. People were getting their pictures taken with this dude and whatnot. And this went on for about a half hour. And then all of a sudden he moved and started getting up, and people freaked the fuck out. Like, I was facing this way painting, and behind me was this guy. And he got up, and I could the flashes of photography were just ridiculous. And then like people were just like screaming, and it was awesome. We love doing theme parties like that. Like the other artists I work with, and it was a couple of great special effects guys, Chris and Jeff Speed, work up in Hollywood and do some cool movies, cool horror movie stuff. I mean, I spent like an entire day dyeing muslin to look like flesh, and then we had 30-foot, stretches of it all over the walls to look like the whole warehouse was made out of human skin. But the ad, I guess, to bring it back to like the Google search for fat guys laughing, I actually put an ad on Craigslist that said obese man needed to play gluttony victim in a 7 recreation Halloween party. And that ended up being the flyer we put out. The front of it had just this big blue like fat guy, and I just put the Craigslist ad on the front. On the back it had the info for the party, but people were picking that up and they were like, what on earth? Sounds great. You used to do haunted house work. So yeah, and one of my wife's cousins in Idaho does a lot of haunted house work out there. I'd love to get in and work on a haunted house. I think that'd be so fun. And one day I may have the time. But yeah, we used to throw all sorts of theme parties. I actually just found the pig baby the other day in a box. I cut a pregnant girl open during a Halloween party. We almost got this bar sued. It was such a great night. But I dressed my friend Delia up in a pregnancy suit, and we put a fake baby in there, of course, but one that moved. It was battery operated, and
Pig baby?
Pig baby. So all throughout the night at this bar, she was walking around pregnant, smoking, drinking. People were just like yelling at her. And we were live painting on stage, and then at the end of the night, all the lights went out, and this huge strobe light goes on, and I lead her out, put her in a chair, and then I end up just gutting her with a knife and pulling this baby out. And there's like, I put saran wrap in there to simulate placenta and yarn, and I was throwing it at the audience, and people were like, I got my beer, woo! Like half the crowd ran out, and then the people that couldn't get in because the line was too long, they all came running in. And there were people literally like trying to pay their bill, and they were just like, yeah, I'll take, what the fuck? And then like, would run over like in the middle of trying to cash out their bar tab. Just, what is going on over there? So yeah, Halloween, I've never actually worked on a haunted house. It's always been like nightclub or warehouse parties, but yeah, I would love to work on some of these mega haunted houses. And in fact, the one in San Diego, believe it or not, which is really weird because it's a pretty conservative, is like the one that has like the longest waiting list. There's like it's something like a 20-year waiting list or 20,000 person waiting list, but it's like the most horrifying, experience. They make you eat rotten eggs. They lock you into it's like 7 hours or some shit. And I don't think anybody's made it through. It's in San Diego. A haunted house. Yeah, oh yeah. The one in San Diego is brutal.
Who put that?
I don't know, but I'd like to meet him. Yeah, I don't know who puts it on, but
Is it not the one in downtown, is it?
no, I don't know if that guy is associated with it, the one in downtown, but
I think that downtown is like Freeville or whatever.
yeah, that guy's got a Neubauten tattoo. He's got all these industrial bands tattooed on him, I think. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's haunted houses, and there's just straight up just like masochism and just allowing sadists run a haunted house, Hey, what's up? Vazoon? I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but I know who you are. Good chat the other night on your stream, man. Yeah. Another amazing artist. Was it color pencil you were working on, or Vision? Okay, cool. Oh, Vision. I get it. Yeah, had a great chat, man, and the piece you were working on was really cool. I don't even know if I commented on the art. We were having such a cool chat about art in general, and trying to figure out just where in the hell we know each other from, because it's been a minute. Color pencil, cool, yeah. That's another medium that I poked around with and just like, man, just had so much trouble with it, and then, you know, people like you just, it's unbelievable, the stuff that comes out. That and charcoal, and you know. Are you on tonight? Are you streaming or just finishing up? There we go. Nice. So I'll give you a little, yeah. So putting in all the line work on this dude's face, really bringing him out, and then like the actual planks will follow the contour of, you know, around it, so it'll look like he's just kind of coming out of the barrel, you know. Thought about streaming for a little while. Yeah. Why not? What's the worst that happens? You get some art done. Dab this ink off a little bit more. I got a little rag next to me. I think there's a little too much ink on it. Sometimes it picks up hairs from it. This is a pretty cool track.
Yeah.
Let me get this little hatching on here. So I'm streaming a little later, not scheduled to schedule schedules exactly. I'm working in acrylic, so I do a lot of washes, and then I go in and drop in like the heavier, you know, acrylic, and then all the black is Holbein ink. So it's a level 0 brush for all the detail work, and then Holbein, which is a badass Japanese ink. 150-year-old company, I believe. I think that's what the rep was telling me. Now, basically, it's a Japanese ink with a German name, because back then there was a lot of racism towards the Japanese, and they wanted to compete in the Western world, so they ended up naming their company a German name. And then, of course, in World War II, that backfired on both fronts. I don't know how much ink they sold during then, but just a little trivia for the ink company. They produce the gouache that Disney uses, or if they even use anymore, for their hand-drawn animation cells. And then like Sergio Aragonés and some of the other pretty big cartoonists will use it just because of its opacity. It's completely waterproof too, which is incredible. So ink over acrylic, yeah. I never heard of that. Court Noir. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, I was using Higgins Black Magic for the longest time, just some run-of-the-mill bullshit, and then they changed their formula or something, and one day, you used to be able to do washes directly over it. Did this painting, got all the detail, initial sketch, outlined it, put my first wash on it, smeared the whole thing. Not sure how you spell it. Oh, the Corman Noir. Okay. Yeah, the Holbein is, there you go, Holbein ink. And my brush, nothing specific, still has the Michaels price tag on it. I'm going to return it when I'm done like 50 paintings. I'm kidding. Be like, yeah, it just didn't work out. That 49th painting was a real disappointment. I blame it on your brush. I want my money back. There we go. Yeah, what is it? Best kind of strange. Lander medium?
No.
What is that?
Serpentine.
Am I on the wrong?
No. That's actually.
That's coming up.
That's, I know.
Oh.
That is
Oh, okay. Cool. These are all new tracks I'm playing tonight. That new for me, unreleased even. So you heard it here first. And this guy behind me, that's the musical, and that's his girlfriend singing. Because why pay for a singer when you're dating one? Free help. Oh, did I say that online? Bell for Tricks. Thank you for the follow. Awesome. Thanks for popping in and checking it out, and just finishing up this piece here. Whoops. For all the people that are just joining, let me pan back real quick and show you the full thing. So we got a little devil head here. Got his horns. That's a hat. I've titled it the sourdough sombrero. That's just kind of what it reminds me of, sourdough bread. And then he's got some slugs coming out of his mouth. Venus flytraps growing out of it's kind of a dirt mound, but I realized once I painted it and I kind of put in these little curly cues, it almost looks like an old lady's hair that's been up in curlers. Got his tongue sticking out, and then he's actually one of my characters that I use a lot. So, oh, another person, cool. The pork sent over, awesome. That's amazing, man. I owe Pork. He's been sending a lot of people over tonight, probably 5, 6, 7. I don't know how many have jumped on, but it's been awesome. So, you know, honey, what's up? Thanks for jumping in, looking rad, awesome. Yeah, just putting in the all the facial lines on this jolly old bourbon barrel who's drinking himself to death, literally. And then later on, I'll be working up some sketches for my new Genius pipeline. So this is a magnetic pipe. I did a little demo earlier of what you know, put your herb in there, draw it down, you smoke from here. It's got my Ma Deuce artwork on it. And then this one's signed by Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, Silent Bob and Jay. But I'm going to be, after I finish this tonight, I'm going to be working up a few new sketches for the new pipeline. So, you know, dude's got taste. This is sweet. Appreciate it. Yeah. Cheers to pork. Nothing like pork in a PBR. Awesome. He's got taste in art. I don't have taste in beer, so forgive me if that offended you by watching me drink a PBR. If I'm gonna drink shit beer, it's gonna be the best shit beer. Gotta, you know. And I used to do a lot of work. They used to sponsor me, so I guess they may still do. Who knows? I haven't done a lot of work with them in recent, but I used to do a lot of the old PBR trucker hats. They would give me just boxes of these things, and I would just do drawings on them and sell them. And I even did one for the owner of PBR, Gene. He's got himself a 32 Deuce Coupe on top of a PBR hat. But you know, alert your stream too. Oh, okay. You got a link, Belfort Tricks, to your stuff. If anybody wants to share their art in chat, feel free. I'm all about it. But I would love to see some stuff too, or anybody wants to share anything. I'm always looking for new artists to stalk and to watch their stream or host or whatever. Whatever I got to do to help build up the creative community here. I mean, Sugar and I have been working together 15 years, art collective in San Diego, toured around the country. We do, you know, all the big rock shows now. We've worked with, I don't know, 1,000 artists, more, who knows, of all different styles and whatnot. There we go. Bring that line down there and then kind of give it a nice sharp curve. And we'll tuck a shadow right there and bring these lines up. So there we go. Actually looks like a skin fold. So share arts, yay! Of course. Yeah, I know some people, you know, obviously it's not assumable with a lot of streams that you can share a link or whatnot, so I always like to throw that out there. I don't mind. I don't see the harm in it. If people like my art, I think they'll come back. They're not going to be like, oh, I like that dude's art now, I will never watch you again. Or they're very fucking weird. I'll try and pop back in a little later. Cool, Vision. Yeah, thanks for popping in. And yeah, great chat the other night. Glad we connected. And I've got you on watch, so I'll be popping in when I can. Cheers, cheers. All right, that one went down the front of my shirt. Only my second beer. That's why my aim's not good. All right. I know too. Once I start building up a repertoire of artists that I follow, it's gonna be time to buy. I need to start adding to the collection. I don't think I've bought much. We put so much money into the remodel and buying the house and all that. It's like once that's done, I can't wait to start buying some new art, get some new pieces in for my collection. So that'll be easy to do on Twitch. Who's on? Great. What do you got? There we go. And we'll kind of just, I don't know if you can see this too well, but let me zoom in on it. Just kind of show you some of the work, like when I'm doing the black line work, like some of the stuff, like that's kind of, you can see how it's faded and gray, but as I, because I did the wash over top of it, but as I add these little lines in, it actually kind of, helps accentuate like throat lines, like going back. So, so even though I do some of the work beforehand in black and then add stuff on top of it, it has a purpose and adds a lot of texture and gives a lot for the eye to look at. What the hell was that? Yeah. I'm like, where am I? Oh yeah, I just gave a speech. Go on the side with a couple lines like that. And we can even like dark it in that corner. But anything to add texture, I love grit, lines, stuff. I'm not a big lowbrow art fan, like where everything's all soft and cotton candy, and I like a lot of the subject matter, and I think the way the paintings themselves are kind of how they're laid out. There's a lot of great work, like in juxtapose and whatnot, but I want splashes. There we go. Put these little lines in and make sure that it looks like his teeth are actually in his gum, like embedded. There we go. All right. I think here we're going to go, let's bring out some of these and make them a little bolder. There we go, yeah. And then that way, shadow it on the sides to bring out the, make it more rounded, is what I'm going for there. And we can connect more of these lines. And all I'm doing is just slamming the brush down a little bit. Well, not slamming, but pushing the brush on its side to get the variations in line. That's why I love brush. I'm sure they have styluses now that can mimic, like brush sensitivity and all that. I know that, but yeah, it's just something about using just a brush and some ink. It's like fishing with a stick and a piece of string. Just old school. And I did start out in comic books, so I've been brush inking for about 20 years now, so it's brush control is something I've learned over the last couple decades of doing this, or however long. Yeah, just about. I self-published my first book when I was 15, so. There we go. See some lines tucked in there. Make sure I'm not off camera. Awesome. Thanks for the host, Vision. Appreciate it. Just in time, since I'm zoomed in here to play the famous game, how long before Sean notices he's worked off camera and is not paying attention? Place your bets. There we go. I took a few more of these lines up there. I love it. Just like the whale painting in the water and whatnot. That was so fun to do all those little lines and just adds so much. I think someone earlier was talking about like, you know, kind of starting a piece and then hating it and kind of being like, yeah, I don't want to finish it, but I've gotten to the point where I know that like most of the magic happens when I'm doing these, you know, all the ink work. So sometimes I will do a piece and I'll just be like, oh, this part looks like shit. But I know if I stick with it, you know, I'll just hopefully be able to pull it through. And then let's get some hatching in there. Because why not? Because it gives me an excuse to do more lines. Alright. Yeah, I love intricate line work. I was fortunate enough to see the I went back to the East Coast where I grew up, just outside Baltimore, and we went to the National Art Museum, and they have this whole, I don't know if